welcome to Engineering with Java. In this video, we're gonna cover how to pass parameter to Spring REST API. So we will have a Spring Boot app, and we will see what are the different ways in Spring Boot we can pass parameters to it. So I wrote this blog a while ago in my Java newsletter. Um, Check it out. There are a lot of people subscribe to this newsletter, and we covered different Java articles in it every week, and there's also ad hoc articles on Spring, Java, Spring Boot, and other frameworks. So yeah, if you if you are those who would like to follow these content, consider subscribing to this newsletter. I'll add it to our description. So coming back to the video, we're gonna see 6 ways to pass the parameter to Spring Boot REST API. As you can see in this image, that we are gonna cover these 6 query params, path variables, metrics, cookies, headers, and request body. So we're gonna see we're gonna do the hands-on on each of these type, and see how these work with Spring Boot app. So first, let's try to understand the setup for this to work. So I'll move to IntelliJ IDEA and explain the setup. So here I have this controller called book reviews, and this controller we're gonna write the all the endpoints that gonna take these different types of params. And here we have book reviews. So for that I also created the book review table in Postgres. It mainly has a review ID, user ID, ISBN for the book, and then the rating for it. So yeah, that's the table. And mainly there's also a book review entity and a logic class, as you can see I am using here. So yeah, but I think that's not the concern for this hands-on. We are mainly going to see how we can accept the params, querying the database, and getting back the records via these different options that we're going to discuss. So let's get started with the first one. So the first one is in this article, you can query params. So let's see the query for param option. All right, so in this example, as you can see, we have the get endpoint. I called it with request params as the resource, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass the request param to this endpoint. And since we are passing the request param, it is going to be appended at the end of the URL, and then we can, using this annotation request param, we can read that to a data type we want to map it to. And then using this for example ISBN here, we can call the logic to get all the reviews for that ISBN. So yeah, that's the endpoint. Easy enough. So how the request endpoint would look like? So it will be mainly will have like a domain name, then you have the book review as your main resource, and then there's a sub resource with request params, and you will have the ISBN as appended property on the URL. So yeah, that's the overall here the logic. Let me run the app so that I can execute the URL from Postman to see if we can execute this. There are a couple of records already in the book review, so let's see if we can get them via count. Okay, there are 3 records, so we should get that as a response. Okay, and so okay, the app is running. I have added the endpoints here. The one that we are looking at is request params, so I'm going to click that, And so in the request param, we don't have anything here, but what we would like to do is we would like to mainly pass the param here. So ISBN, let's give any arbitrary value for now, and as you can see this value is getting added here. ISBN 123 is basically appended here. So now we send this, and let's see if we get a response back. So now this is giving you the empty array because this ISBN is not available in the database. So we have to either pass one of these to get the response. So I'm going to use the one that exists here now, and gonna make a call, and yeah, now we see our response back. So that's the thing here, and I'm also logging all the query and all that, so we can see that too. It is executing this as select query for the ISBN and the value is 3. So that is the basically using the query params or request params. Now coming back to the second type, which is using the path variable. So here's the logic for the path variable. What we're going to do with the path variable is that we're going to pass um, the property along with the resource endpoint. So basically your ISBN becomes the part of your URL. So how you would gonna call, you will call book review, you're gonna call with path variable, and then you're gonna pass the ISBN along with it. Now how do we read it? So there is a annotation called path variable, so we're gonna use that variable to annotation to extract that value to a string called ISBN, and then we're gonna make a similar call here. So this is what the path variable approach, where you can pass the property along with your URL. So let's see this in action. So we have here path variable example. I'm going to click that, and here we are passing the ISBN along with the URL. Nothing here in the query params, so I'm going to execute that. Okay, this is giving us like there's nothing available for this because this with path variable and 03. Okay, let me check this. We have 03064065. Okay, so this ISBN is there, so we're gonna do that. Okay, yeah, I need to kill this and then restart because this endpoint doesn't exist yet, so I have to restart it in order to make sure that this endpoint is available. My bad. Okay, let it first execute, start the application, and then we can execute the postman. Okay, this seems to be running, so I'm gonna make call again, and this time we get our response back, which is good. Then now let's pass something that doesn't exist. So and this, and we should get the empty response. Perfect, so that works. This is the second way. Now coming back to the coming back to that option, so we have like third option is called metrics. So I have this template here for the metrics. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pass metrics variable. So this is another approach that is supported in Spring Boot. What you can do is like you can pass the variable as colon in your URL. So how the URL would look like is you'll have your local host or whatever the domain name is. Then you have like a book reviews, this reviews with variables. You'll have your ISBN 123, some arbitrary number here, and then you can have a colon, and then you can pass the variable with it. So you have like top and 10, 12, you have again colon here, max 100, and so on. So with matrix variable you can pass these property as colon, and then in your Spring Boot it will be when you define the annotation matrix variable, it's going to extract that value and assign to the uh, variable that where you want to use it further. And of course the ISBN, as we discussed, the path variable here, so we're extracting that as a path variable. So yeah, this is another approach. I have a Postman resource or Postman request already ready. Let's execute that and see this in action. So let's try to understand this. So we have the domain that we saw, book review with matrix variable, and then we are passing ISBN, and then as you can see we have this semicolon here that basically we are passing the property that we want to send to the REST endpoint. All right, so we're gonna make the call, and let me change that. Okay, we are getting this error again. I made a same mistake. I have to stop this container and then restart so that this endpoint is available. Shouldn't take much time. Yeah, while it runs, just want to also mention that the metrics variable is not by default enabled in Spring, so you have to do certain things to make it enable. I'm going to share what I did to make it make it enable. But first, let's execute the endpoint and see this in action. So we already have the container started. Let's make a call to it, and we are getting empty record. So let's try to, since this is wrong, this shouldn't be ISBN equal to, we should have ISBN value here because it's a path variable. Now I'm gonna make a call, and then yeah, we get the record back. So that's the that's where you can pass the metrics variable using the semicolon. Now I said that this is not gonna be working out of the box. You need to do certain changes. The changes that is needed for this is you have to have this config file where you need to change this value. It's called set remove semicolon content. This is by default true. I basically logged it to say, and you have to make it false. So as you can see, initially it printed true, and then when we set false, yeah, it changed to the false. So in to allow using matrix variable, this set remove semicolon content needs to be false. So that one thing that we have to change in our app. So just wanted to share that this configuration is required in order to make the matrix variable working. Okay, so we have already covered 3 ways. Now let's move to the next one, which is using the request body. So it is mainly the we can make a post request. Now here what we are doing is we are basically adding the book reviews. So we can construct the request, pass the request body having multiple values that we would like to add to our book review table, and with the help request body, that JSON is going to be passed to the or that JSON will be serialized to Java object, which is list of book review. So let's see in action. So I have this post request here. I have the add endpoint. I'm gonna see the body here, and I'm trying to add a few book ratings here for different ISBN. Since these record is already there, let's change them a little bit. 5, 6 and 7. Then let's keep the other values as is, and now we can make a post request. So what will happen is that this array of this JSON data basically be passed to the endpoint. Then our Spring Boot is going to convert the from JSON to is going to be converting from JSON to Java object, and the serialization and deserialization is done by Spring Boot behind the scene for this. So that's what uh, gonna be the case. And then we take the list of book reviews, and then we have this add book reviews, where we are technically just saving all the book reviews to the book repository that we have. So that's the whole logic here. I'm gonna now make a request to see that this is working. And how we will verify, basically the return value would be the um, list of all the book reviews that persisted. So I send that. Okay, so there is an error, same mistake. I'm gonna stop and start back. Yeah, this is going to be similar for post and put, because then you don't have to pass the request body along with this. For the put, maybe you can also have like just a um, IDs and all that you want to update. But yeah, I mean, this is how the request card body is going to play, where you pass the list of things that you would like to update your database with. Since I started app has started, let's try again. All right, so as we can see, the new ISBNs were returned. That means they got persisted. We can also verify it by making a query, and yeah, now we have like a 6 uh, records. So yeah, that works. And this is another way we can pass the parameters to the REST endpoint. Coming back to the cell list, the another one is like request headers. So we can pass the parameters to our REST endpoint using request headers. And for our example, we will be passing a header called authorization that should contain the token value that we would like to equate first, and then we perform the operation. So here the simple get mapping, just having a with header endpoint, passing the ISBN, and which is path variable here, and then we have this request header annotation that is looking for the authorization key into it. And then we use that auth token and making sure that it's equal to 123. This is just a bare bone. It's not how we do it in production, but yeah, just to see that this works. The request header gonna just equate to that, and then we're gonna get all the reviews by SBN. Otherwise, we're gonna just say runtime exception unauthorized. Again, this is not how you handle the um, unauthorization in production. This is just for demonstration that we can use add request header annotation to accept the parameter. Now we're gonna stop this before I make a same mistake again. Restart so that this endpoint is available, and in my postman setup I also have the request for the headers. So I'm gonna click there, and I believe I already added a header here for authorization, which is equal to 123. So this is going to work, and we're gonna get the uh, book review, and then I'll also see if adding something garbage there should return the error or unauthorized runtime exception. Okay, so the app is working. Let's send this, and we get the response back. Let's change that to 1234, and that should give us the internal server error, and unauthorized message. Perfect. So that's the fifth way we can uh, get the parameters in the Spring Boot uh, REST API. Now the last one is using cookies. So let's figure out how we can use that. Again, same endpoint, similar endpoint. I mean, then we have the cookie value name here just, and then we are using this add annotation cookie value, and then we can give the name, which cookie we are looking for, and then again it is not how you do in production. This is just a bare one. So using this as session ID to make sure that we get the all the reviews by ISBN, similar to how we saw with the request header, but yeah, this is we are passing like cookie value and not the header. uh, Going to stop and restart so that this endpoint is available, and I'm gonna show how the postman look like for this. Okay, so this is the endpoint passing the ISBN here. How we now the other question, how do we add a cookie value? So I figured out that there is a cookie section here. You can click here. You can create your domain. Basically domain is like where you are making the request to. So we are making all these requests to localhost. So I created localhost one and then added a session ID here. So value is abcd1234, and then these are the expiry and all that path. But the main thing is that we need to add the cookie here for abcd123. As you can see, abcd123 is the one that I'm quitting on, so this should work. So I added a cookie. Now yeah, our app is running, so let's make a request, and this should give us a book review. Perfect. I'm gonna try another one. I think 0 does not exist, so we're gonna get empty array. Now comes the other part where we change the cookie value to something that we don't accept, so it should throw the error. Okay, perfect. So that's how you can read the cookie value, and that's the last option. So coming back to this video, what we saw, so we saw that we have a book review controller. We have a table called book reviews. We saw 6 different ways to pass the value to Spring Boot REST API, and we also saw how we can make a query from the postman. So coming back to the number of ways, first we saw that how we can pass the request param or query param. Then second one, how we can pass the path variable, like passing the property in your resource endpoint itself. The third one, we saw that how we can pass the metrics variable using like semicolon, and then this one needs some configurations in the Spring Boot app. So that I also explained that there is a parameter that needs to be triggered to false to make sure that we can use this metrics variable. Then we saw the post mapping for the add reviews, so we can add reviews, and for that we need to extract, or we need to map the JSON to list of book review using request body. That serialization deserialization is handled by Spring Boot under the hood. Fifth one, we saw that with headers we can also pass the values. Here we saw that we pass the authorization header. We can pass any other property in the request header, and then we can extract that value. And then the last one we saw, the cookie value. We can pass the cookie value and then extract using the add cookie value annotation and giving the name of the property that we'd like to read the value for. And then we also saw how we can add a cookie in postman request. Yeah, that's all that we covered in this video. I hope you liked it. I'll link the article in the description, and if you have any question, make sure to write those in comment so that I can answer them. And you can also connect me on other social media, LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn, so yeah, if you want to connect with me, you can send me the request. Think that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.